Wonderful. So officially end of summer, which is crazy. I feel like this is wow, this year's flying by, but I was talking with Dyron yesterday before this saying like it's always around September that we start talking again because it's Cuba season. Everyone has Cuba on their mind. Everyone's excited to travel to Cuba, starting in sort of a November timeline. So we see a lot of travel kind of pick up. So I'm really grateful that we have this opportunity to have you on the call, Dyron, and walk us through our trips. So I'll take a moment to sort of present who's on the call for everyone. I'll start with myself. I'm a travel specialist at Discover Corps. I've been working for over 3 years now, fitting people into their dream vacations, matching people into trips around the world. As I mentioned earlier, my first day on the job was actually in Cuba. So I had the privilege of meeting all of our guides and Dyron in person and hosting a lot of our staff and board members in Cuba as well, which was just such a great opportunity to really understand like what our impact is working in Cuba and that really it's one of our more popular destinations and we get to coordinate all different kinds of groups of all different walks of life to this amazing island. And so yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I'm Canadian originally. I live in Costa Rica. And I know that Discover Corps, for many is out of San Diego in California. Um, which sometimes when I get to California, I get to go see Claudia, which is a perfect segue to introduce Claudia and what you do at Discover Corps.
Hey Lynn, yes, I always love the visits. It's always great to get to see each other. But yeah, hi everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending where you at. I'm Claudia Ghosty. I'm a pre-departure coordinator for all of our Cuba trips. So I've been working with Darren pretty closely for almost 3 years now, which is amazing. As Lynn said, yes, I visited Cuba and yeah, it definitely has a special, like a special place in my heart. From many memories, one of my great memories is one of the hosts of the casas. She asked me, "Hey, do you want to come in? Like, I'll teach you how to make mojitos." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's fun," and that was just like such a nice and like a close experience with a local. And I will always, remember that moment and many other moments that I had in Cuba. So yeah, really excited to just share more about it.
Oh,
Oops, you
how do you?
muted
Sorry,
again.
sorry.
Okay.
Can't be a trip to Cuba without a mojito, honestly. Honestly, I don't know how many we made on that trip, Dyron, but it was a lot.
Yes, we did.
Definitely.
Yes, substantial
And
amount. Okay.
yeah, please introduce yourself and all of your experience and
Oh,
years of working
all right.
in
Well,
bringing
first
people
of
to the
all,
island.
yeah, my name is Dairon Gonzalez, and I have been working with Discover Core for like over 8 years altogether. And I am very, very happy that it is with Discover Core that we are doing these trips to Cuba. And I'm very fortunate to have Lynn and Claudia in the team and Angela as well, because these are people that are not only do they do their job very well, yes, they do, but what is important to me is that they like Cuba, they love Cuba, and they feel it. So for me, that has an added value in addition to their professionalism. They love Cuba, and you can feel that when you work with them. So for me, that is extremely gratifying and rewarding. Thank you for that. I'm Cuban. I graduated. I was a university professor in the university for a couple of years in Havana, and then I began to be a tour guide. I became a tour guide for about 6 years. Through which I worked with Discover Corps, just one or two groups, but that was good enough to establish a good connection. And after I came to the United States, I decided to open my own company because there were a lot of things that I noticed that could be better, but there was no way that from our perspective we could improve. Working for a government company was no way we could improve certain elements. So I came here and I opened the company. I began to work with Discovery Corps very closely, and we are very happy to in what we do in Cuba. We help a lot of people. We have a great project, many itineraries. We accommodate to the traveler's need, but also we have a fantastic staff inland. and a lot of friends. So I'm very happy with our project, with what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing place to work in the way that you really can, I feel like you feel connected to the impact that one can make by traveling to a place and being able to just like I tell my travelers all the time on the phone that are considering Cuba, like you have to go there. You that's the only way to understand what the impact is by going there yourself and supporting the local people and meeting them and sharing time and hearing their histories. And I love this photo of the historian that we have, sometimes work with us on groups to bring us through the town and understand the history. And I just absolutely like loved my time with him and huge shout out. But I thought it would be important to kind of for anyone who's new to us, I see some alumni on the call, but our mission at Discover Corps really is to inspire travelers to become advocates for our planet's natural wonders, cultural treasures, and local communities, like you see in this picture here. This lower photo is actually also at a ceramic artist named Lolo that we go visit on some of our itineraries as well. So again, all of these photos are recent photos from our trips and really showcasing that our journeys create these, unforgettable memories and can actually connect. And I think we do that through, having a model that you can kind of see here, which is small group travel, immersive travel, educational travel as well. That has always an element of purpose. And Cuba is a really unique destination because we have this like unique license in which we can operate these trips with Diren to Cuba in support for the Cuban people, which we'll talk about shortly. But I know a quick question when people are considering these trips is like, how big are our group sizes? We really do, cap our trips at 16. That's kind of like our current limit, but we also do bigger groups than that if they're private. So we have that capacity, but when you see our standard trips that we advertise online, they're definitely this small group travel. And we can even run a trip to Cuba often with as little as 2 people on certain destinations and certain itineraries. So it's a pretty unique place that we are able to really send a lot of people, if it's honeymooners to friends to mother-daughter trips, we've seen it all. Or birthday parties with how many people, Claudia, was the birthday party we did last year for
I
Diren?
think it was almost 30. Yeah, it was a big group.
Yeah, yeah. So we have capacity, but we know that having that intimacy of being with a local guide will allow you to connect with the community, and I think that will have you coming back for more because you create real connections with people, and that's what ends up creating a lasting memory. So I want to dive into like our Cuba offerings, because that's what hopefully a lot of you are here for to hear about. And we have our expert on the line. So Diren, you helped create all of these amazing itineraries. And what's unique about Cuba is we have different trip types in Discover Corps, but Cuba has them all. Not any other destination really does have it all. So I thought it was cool to kind of showcase this, that we have, our signature journeys, we have our festival, and we have our, weekend getaway trip. And we also have these optional extensions that you can include. And so I'd love for you, Diren, to kind of walk us through these, 6 sort of itineraries and give us some highlights and what travelers can kind of expect from each experience.
Of course, of course. Thank you, Len, for the fantastic introduction. Well, the idea behind all of these itineraries was to try to accommodate all travelers and to try to offer to show a good thing of what Cuba has to offer. Cuba, in my opinion, as a Cuban, it is fantastic for its people, for the music, for the nature. We have like 23 birds that only live in Cuba, for example, if you are into bird watching. But we have amazing amount of species of the vegetation as well, and other animals that only live in Cuba. The mountains are fascinating, and the rivers in the mountains. But also art has flourished tremendously since the beginning of it, like music, through music, the jazz, everything. So we wanted to incorporate all the little things into it. So we have, for example, the celebration of arts and culture. That is quite a comprehensive tour. It covers a little bit of everything. you get involved with art, a little bit of nature, architecture, that we get the combination of colonial architecture with the modern American architecture, because like in the 1920s and 30s, there was a lot of constructions of buildings, constructions in Havana. So we have quite a few exponents of the Art Deco and even Art Nouveau style. And that makes it quite interesting how that matches with the colonial columns from the 17 and 1800s. And then we have the preserving nature's wonders, again more oriented towards nature. That one goes to Havana, but it's involved with nature as well, and you get to know the birds and the mountains and trekking and the lakes. It's also quite interesting. The building bridges is the one that it's more into a human component, because you do some volunteer work, and then again you go to other provinces. The volunteer work, you get to know the community, the project that they do, kids. What all of these have in common, in addition to being in Havana, is that they also go to other provinces of Havana, because Havana is fantastic, it's fascinating, but there are other things. The Nature's Wonders goes to Vinales, a fantastic place. It's referred to as the Garden of Cuba. But it's a unique rock formation that it's a mogote, it's like a flat tower mountain, like Ars Towers. That you can only find it in Cuba and in South China, Huanyang province. Excuse my Chinese is not at all good. But like the fantastic provinces, buildings, mountains there are amazing, and they have caves and caverns are fascinating system just to go and visit. And you see the tobacco plantations, the tobacco fields that are very colorful as well. That it's part of a World Heritage Site as well. The other two, they go to two other provinces that are equally World Heritage Sites, Cienfuegos and Trinidad. Amazing cities, very colonial. Cienfuegos is a modern colonial, very clean, very beautiful, very straight, very well designed. Trinidad, on the other hand, it's like early colonial. Like you see the pastel colors, you see the clay, the house is built out of clay as well. And the roofs, the streets, they don't have a perfect grid design, but it is all amazing. It's all like magical once you visit both of these places. For me, it's one of my favorite places in Cuba, visiting Trinidad. We also have the festivals, the Havana Jazz Festival, because there's a lot of people that are fascinated by the music. So we incorporate that, but we make it very differently. We also have another festival, that is the Cigar Festival, right, Lynn? So
Yes, yeah, we did a private tour, which was amazing because Darwin really has the capacity to. He has connections all across Cuba. So when people come with ideas, we try to make it happen. And again, depending on what exactly you're asking for, and if we have the tools and the connections to do so, we do our best to make it happen for you.
yeah,
And
that
it
that
was
one was
amazing.
that one
That was
was
so
yeah, that one was great. Well, I loved it because we created a cigar festival, cigar trip for cigar connoisseurs or people that are interested in cigars, and in rum. So we got involved in the history of Cuban rum, of cigar in Cuba, tobacco in Cuba, the plantations. They went to the field, they saw the seeds, they saw how to make it, everything, all the little details. They learned quite a lot. That one was for that one. It was great, and and also for the jazz festival. The thing is that when you have these two festivals, it's a massive amount of tourism going to Cuba in these events, both events. But our itineraries, they differ from whatever they have. Because, yeah, we go to the activities, to the celebrations, the performances at night of the jazz, or some of the lectures, but we have the lecturers come to our travelers. We invite them to have dinner with our group, for example. So you have a fantastic musician, very famous, accomplished jazz player, eating, having dinner with our band, with our group, talking to them as a normal person. So we get to backstage, we get to talk to them, we get to see where they make their instruments, how they play their rehearsals. So we do things that nobody else does in these itineraries. And the same thing for the cigar. So we have the guys that know most about cigar in Cuba. They go, they talk to us, they tell us how to light the cigar, how to light it, everything, all the little details, how to roll it. We visit the farmers, all in a great detail. I like both of these festivals because they're not that long and you really enjoy the time. For the Havana weekend, we wanted to do something short, just for the weekend, just 4 days, and that you get a glimpse of Havana and Vinales right away, not too long, but enough to give you a taste. You have the aftertaste later on in case you want to come back. I didn't talk about the family exploration, the family island exploration, because that one for me has a special significance because we were having many families that were with kids. So we had to incorporate the kids component in a way that is not boring for the adults or for the kids. So we try to incorporate a couple of elements like arts, for example. We visit an artist, and the artist is we have two artists. Like one of is a sculptor, the other one is a painter. So both of them, like we visit either of them, but both of them they teach how to do art. So for the painter, for example, a very accomplished painter, he provides everything, all the materials, and he teaches us how to do the drawings, how to do everything. He walks us through the process, and at the end, it's a good feeling that the kids and their parents have once they do that as well. We visit also a couple of community projects in Havana, all of that involving kids, children. And then we go for 2 days to the beach. That is just 5 nights. It's very short, but the kids love it. And then we go to the beach because it's fun. The beach in Cuba is
That's why not?
amazing. It's very blue, very clean. It's great. Like the water is transparent, and we do some snorkeling. Guys, it's a fantastic trip as well. It's very short, but it's also one of my favorites. Yeah, pretty much, Lynn, I think.
Yeah, no, amazing. Thank you for that awesome overview. I think you said it right away, actually. You were like, there's really a trip for everyone. And I actually want to come to this slide and then we can go back a little bit. But I think you said it like there really is a trip for nature lovers, for arts and music lovers. And there is this opportunity to make it just for you, you know. Please tell me, sir. Yeah.
Yes, yes, you have one of the picture of the musicians there. That is
Yes,
great.
okay.
Thank you. Because yes, it reminds me of
This is
something.
my photo.
Yeah. But we also, guys, we have a great relationship with the Cuba, with our staff. So our staff, yeah, is the people in land that they guarantee the accommodation, transport. We have drivers, guides that are very friendly and knowledgeable, and specialists of all sorts in architecture, in music, in birds, in nature, everything. But we also hire private concerts like this one. This is Emilio Morales, a very well, I mean, a well-known, famous musician in Cuba. Emilio Morales, world known, and we hired the band to play for our groups. Once in a while, we hire other people like Enid Rosales, which is the most famous person in Cuba right now playing for kids. So we have a lot of these musicians. Well, so what I mean that the thing is that we help a lot of people. A lot of people work with us in our community, not just the ones that are directly involved with tourism, but also we expand with the farmers, musicians, artists, regular folks. So yeah, pretty much.
Oh, thank you for highlighting that. And it's so true. We really are blessed to be able to have such a like close intimacy. And I think throughout my whole trip to Cuba, I was just so blown away with the connections that you all have and how you've been able to come together as a community to pull off like just such an exceptional itinerary that makes you feel so connected and educated, but also really has everything to offer, like this picture of the nature. This was just kind of like a stop the bus moment. We just stopped and took this shot as we were getting a coconut water on our way to the western side. So it's yeah, it's an amazing place that I think you can have the confidence to know there really is something for everyone. And we've been able to also connect a lot of people who have maybe lost connection to their roots to Cuba and wanted to go back to visit their, grandfather's home or some sort of family connection. So it's been beautiful over the years working to bring that to life for so many people. And I think that's where this slide comes into play of these like moments that matter. Having worked in Cuba now for over 10 years, there's just all of these moments that accumulate into creating impact for not only our travelers, but as Darren was alluding to also the communities that we work with. Um, and I don't know if you can speak a little bit more to these photos too,
Oh yeah,
Darren, especially with
of course.
Morelandio, I think highlighting
Yeah,
that would
but
be
yeah,
awesome.
that is the problem. Every time you show a picture, I want to talk about it, and I don't want to take all the time here because
No, please
yeah,
tell us.
although I go to Cuba all the time, but I really enjoy these things, and I see their faces, and I remember those moments. Like we have in this picture, like the second picture, we have Gerardo, and Gerardo is the guy with the white shirt and
Yeah,
orange
up
trunks,
here.
pretty much.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a historian. He worked for Casa de las Americas. Very famous, very good, very friendly individual, extremely knowledgeable. And so he retired, and he was struggling. He was struggling because it was very difficult in Cuba. It's can be really hard to make ends meet. Really difficult. And so he began working with us. We hired them for the history tours. We just a tour that and we have travelers that are more into history. We just get him. And it is fascinating all he has to offer and how appreciative every time he sees me or he talks about Discovery, he say, thank you very much for what you do for it's amazing the feeling that get
Mm,
there. And people that are history aficionados or interested or just history
mm.
buffs, they really have a great time with him, with Ricardo, with
Oh
Gerardo.
yeah,
And then we have Muraleando. That is the picture of the top right.
up here at the top.
Yeah, that one is great. It has a great history because what you see behind all these people, that is a big water tank, a water tank. But the water tank built in 1912, and that whole place was used as a dumpster. So that water tank was full of like trash, garbage. And then a couple of people from the community, they decided to come together and they began to clean that part. The thing is that there was also a lot of kids in the community that had nothing to do. They were just on the street, like just walking around without doing anything. So they cleaned that tank, they cleaned the whole area, and they began to do workshops for the kids, like teaching them arts, very basic music. But it began to be so popular that they had to expand it. And now they teach music, guitars, they teach art, they see painting, even movies. And they have also helped other families rebuild some of their houses in the community. They've rebuilt the community, that area. They have restaurants. I mean, of course, like for them, like not a fancy or anything, just very basic, but the food is amazing. And it's the whole place. They have embellished the whole community. They have made murals around it. And now it's a fantastic place to go and visit. And this is what we do our voluntary program,
Mm.
that our travelers, they go there, they stay in the casas of regular people. And that's another thing, Lynn, that I wanted to mention that yes, in Cuba we have, or there are casas that are very expensive, like private casas that are extremely expensive. We do not stay in these casas. The thing is that uh, the owners of all of these casas, they are not, either not, most likely they're not Cubans. They are foreigners that they invest in Cuba and they put, which is fine. I'm not against that. But we want to help the community, the Cuban communities, to make their money, to make their living. So we take all the casas that are equally good. Of course, they have all the services that we need, all the accommodations. They are clean, they are safe, hot water, air conditioning, of course, refrigerator, everything. And we know that we are helping the local community directly. So yeah, so that's why we stay in Muraleando. We stay in other places that the people have a fantastic time, and the hosts are right there. They don't hire somebody to be the host or anything. It's just right there, very friendly, very outgoing. Yeah, very much.
Yeah, the casas are definitely a highlight, I think, for travelers, and it was for me, as it was for you, Claudia, like mentioning your mojito experience with your casa owner. But I brought some chocolate from Costa Rica to my house owner as a thank you gift, and I saw this 70-year-old woman eat an entire chocolate bar in a sitting because she was so excited about eating that chocolate bar, and I'll never forget the smile on her face. And again, I those are the things that you end up remembering is like just how the country and the people receive you. And I get a lot of questions on the phone, like, well, how, how is it? What is it like? And I just have story after story, and I know all of our travelers do as well, of just receiving like pure kindness from the local people and just feeling so incredibly safe. And I always like to share this little tidbit of a story, but up in the top left corner, when we were running our trip and we had a lot of people living in different casa particulares, we would all get dropped off at the same place in a park, and we would disperse as we would go to our casas that were all like walkable distance. And I was walking home, and this guard from the hospital stopped me, and he was speaking Spanish. Luckily, I do speak the language, and so we got chatting, and he wanted to tell me about the history of the John Lennon Park, which was right across the street from the hospital. And he proceeded to tell me the whole history, and he even got his boss from the hospital to also come accompany and help take pictures of us like exploring the park. And at the end, I remember saying like, "Oh, can I like tip you or give you some money?" And they were like, "Don't insult me. Like just wanted to tell you about the park." And so in the end, I was like, "Come on, like I got to give you something." And they're like, "Well, we're done work now, so we can go for a mojito." And so I bought them a round of mojitos, and we talked about life, and we chatted, and it was just such an honest and authentic sort of encuentro, we would say in Spanish, just like a meeting. And I just really enjoyed the just how
That is
open everyone in Cuba
that
is.
happens.
And
That is normal.
yeah,
Yes.
that's
And you see the
normal.
John Lennon part. That is the John Lennon statue.
Yeah.
It's a part dedicated to John Lennon, where a lot of bands in Cuba, like local bands or people, they got there in the 90s, most likely to listen to music, to play. That is a significant part. And at the bottom,
Hmm.
Lynn,
Yeah,
you are having your fortune told,
I am. I have my tarot
right?
card, yeah,
So there's a
being
lot
read.
of that. That is very common in Cuba. People who can read cards, and
Hmm.
you can find them everywhere in the neighborhoods. But that is common. Like Cubans go to these women a lot, or men. Sometimes it's men the ones that are reading the cards. They do a lot. They go regularly. They have the Spanish cards, or they might have tarot, but it's most likely Spanish cards, and they have their thing. They read the cards in uh in Cuba. The most uh, common religion is the Afro-Cuban religion mixed the um, with the Catholicism. It's the two religions at the same time. That is called religious syncretism. So you would find this lady dressed in white with elements of the African religion, but then she would have the Catholic saint at the back that is Virgin de las Mercedes, for example. So that is Obatalá in African religion. So it is very common to find these characters or in the
Hmm.
neighborhoods everywhere, and people go there to have problems at work or something. They talk to them. Lynn,
Hmm.
perhaps in the future we could have I don't know, a religious tour
Hmm.
where people
Someone who
might be
wants to
interested
explore
in the
it.
Afro-Cuban culture, religion,
Mm,
or Catholicism. How is that connected?
definitely. No,
That is
it's amazing. This photo too, sorry to interrupt you there, Darren, but
oh,
the husband of this woman, he's also a character in the community, and I met him separately, and then I found out they were husband and wife, and I was like, that makes sense. You just are both such beautiful people. And it's funny because I know that travelers, when they send in pictures, I see her in photos, like she is a pillar of Havana. And even people who've traveled to Cuba years and years ago, like friends of mine, I have seen this woman in photos, and her husband. He carries like a big cigar around, but they definitely have been like a part of, I feel like, the Havana tourism community for a long time. But also, like you said, for locals, it's so much part of the culture, and we love to highlight these aspects of everything. And I wanted to again just highlight why we're able to travel to Cuba. A lot of people ask me that on the phones. They're like, "Wait, how is it that this is actually done?" And I like to remind people that there's essentially 12 licenses in which you can travel to Cuba under, and we operate with help of Dyron, of course, to be able to support the Cuban people through that license. And we've spoken a little bit about what that impact looks like. But I also just threw on here a recent testimonial from a traveler this year that went on the Celebration of Arts and Culture trip. And that bond that's also built between the guide and the traveler in really just a few days. You know, when you think about it, it's like it's 8 days, 7 nights of your life, but you're able to really be able to, in that short amount of time, you know, she speaks to the history, the economy, the politics that were insightful and engaging, and that, you know, she felt inspired by the guide and his professionalism and knowledge and just how personable and joyful he is to be around. And I love that she wrote, you know, what a treasure he is, because I feel like everyone you meet in Cuba is like a treasure. And I think we need to pay gratitude that we're able to sort of be this vehicle for this impact to be able to happen. And when we talk about, you know, tourism as a vehicle to do that, I think we can really see that unfold in Cuba in many ways that Dyron has been talking about, and that, you know, Claudia and I have also been able to see firsthand. But yes, we are able to sort of run trips under this license. And I'm skipping forward a little bit because there was a question that came in a few minutes ago about flights and just how you're able to even get to Cuba. And so maybe that's, you know, on many of your minds. I tell my travelers there's actually 5 major airports that currently do fly into Cuba, but sometimes the flight options are not the best. So we often see people just flying to Miami and taking that local sort of flight, you know, just over an hour essentially to hop over to the island. So you see that a lot more. But we also have a flight partner known as Wings Travel that can look into, you know, what the best route is going to be for you. And they are a service that we pay for at Discover Corps for you to be able to access. And so we definitely advocate that if you're considering a trip on a certain date and you want to understand what flights are sort of looking like, and you're not comfortable booking your flights alone, they are essentially also an insurance policy for you in a way where if something were to happen to your flight and you need to be rerouted, they can be there to support you through the process as well. But luckily, you know, Cuba is a place currently that we see that people struggle to get to. There's actually more options than I think people realize. And so just wanted to highlight that. And I know, Dyron, you spoke a little bit about the Casa Particulares, which is great because I think it's a unique element of what we do in Cuba, supporting these sort of local bed and breakfasts. I sort of tell people it's like an Airbnb, you know, again, but run by local people so that we can continue to support the local economies. And you also spoke a little bit about, you know, you, Dyron, even being like a professor at the University of Havana, and I know some of our guides have been as well. But maybe you can talk a little bit more about our guides in Cuba and just their backgrounds, because I know we have quite a few that we work with, and depending on the group style, we can really like fit the guide to the group to be able
Totally.
to just provide a even better experience.
Yes, totally. Thank you. Yes. We also, I mean, Claudia has usually a fantastic rapport with the travelers. So she tries to get what they want and what they need and what they like, even what they are like. So all these details, those are good to see which guy would be the best fit for a specific group. If it is towards nature or history or arts or music or architecture. So after Claudia tells me what the main requires or the thing that she can perceive, then we try to find the best candidate for these things. Or we hire also lecturers for that end. We have guys that are fantastic, they love music, for example, they like jazz. So whenever we have the jazz festival, we try to use that guide for that one. Not just for that, but we try to put that in that purpose. When we have travelers that are very inquisitive into history or nature, we have specific guys that go with there. For example, we have Joel. Joel is a fantastic, he's a professor of biology, but also a photographer. So when we have people oriented to nature or photography, we talk to Joel, for example, and so on and so forth. We have had all through the these many years working with Discovery Corps, many guides. We have had new guides. It has changed. It's good. We always try to keep the guides that they are happy working with us. Many of the guides, unfortunately, sorry, fortunately for them, unfortunately for us, they were able to make their own money, and they travel, and they were able to live in another country, and they were able to have their money and their jobs and everything. And but the guys that we have, we also provide certain training with some of the things that they may lack at some point. We have these online courses that we send to them so they can be more experienced in certain areas. All of them are very well prepared, very young people with a desire to work to make it better. Yeah, quite accomplished.
That's a good point, that it's true that as a part of, working with our clients as well, there's a level of education that goes into like, if you're guiding for a Discover Core trip, what is it? What kind of guide is that? And often it's, these people who are very passionate about what our mission is inspiring local travelers to, again, care about the natural resources, care about the community, and make a positive impact in the communities that we're visiting in. So thank you for highlighting that. And it's been so cool to meet all of our guides and hear about their life experience. Like you said, Joel, he's such an amazing bird photographer. I love seeing his work and follow alongside his journey. I really want to get into the question piece. We also had a really great question already in the chat from a traveler just asking about, oops, missed it here. Oh, do we have a lot of travelers that do not speak Spanish? So yeah, most of our travelers do not speak Spanish. Hardly any of them will. I'm privileged because my husband is Costa Rican, so I definitely know the language, and Claudia's pretty much fluent in Portuguese, or but close to Spanish. So, but of course, our travelers do not often come with the language, and that's why it's so important to have these amazing guides who
But
are
by the end of the trip,
bilingual. And yeah,
the
by the
trip,
end of
they
the
speak
trip,
some
you might know
Spanish,
a
they
little bit.
dance salsa, they know
Yeah,
mojitos. It's good. Yes.
exactly. No, definitely part of the education on all sides of things. Our itineraries intend to do so, but you do not by any means need Spanish, even in the volunteer sort of heavier experiences like building bridges. I get that question a lot. You do not need the language. That's what we're here to help facilitate that cross-cultural communication and make sure that you have still a wonderful time. And there's some tools like, downloading Google Translate before you get to the islands. That's definitely helpful so that if you are in a position where you want to connect on your own without your guide, you could do that. But by no means is it required. So hope that clears up things. Um, I wanted to highlight just overall, what are the benefits of traveling with us and what makes us, again, different. I think naturally, if you're interested in a more impact sort of focused itinerary, you're going to meet a lot of like-minded people on the trip. I think our trips attract, like-minded travelers who care about, these pillars of what makes us Discover Core, which are, authentic local experiences, and we really tried to help make things easy on you. So handling logistics, safety, being able to support with pre-departure support, which I'll give Claudia the mic in a second to speak to all of the amazing work she does to prepare everyone to go to, especially Cuba, because it's a unique destination. It has some elements of that no other country in the world has that we want to make sure we prepare you for. Um, and this idea that our trips really are all inclusive on site. What that means is, pick up and drop off at the airport and everything in between. Every once in a while, there might be a meal, for example, on our Trinidad extension that we have on your own because there's different options, and we'll of course give you those recommendations so you're not completely, beside yourself deciding what to do and what to eat. But generally speaking, we're always going to have it included, especially in a place where sometimes things can be hard to come by, and that's part of understanding the realities that a lot of Cubans live, through is not always equal access to food and not always at the same time. So maybe Darren, you can speak to that a little bit, just around meals and food and what that looks like and what people can expect when
Yes,
going
yes,
to
thank
Cuba.
you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Of course, of course. Um, One of the things that I value most about these trips is that once you get to the country, you get to know the country, you get to know the people. Honest people all the time is not people that are going to be talking only about the good things or only about the bad things. No, honest people. Hey, this is good, this is bad, and so on. It'll be very straightforward with you. All these guides, and we find the thing about the restaurants is that sometimes when we have an itinerary, it's always best to go to a specific place so we don't waste too much time in going to a place that is going to take too long, or the food is not going to be good, or it's not going to be safe. So usually it's better in the itineraries to have a set place. That is the only thing that we do. We have a set place. However, we have a variety of things in the menu that the travelers can offer whatever they want, like of all these choices. Um, we try to accommodate different types of restaurants. Like when we have like mostly oriented towards Cuban food or seafood, they have an option. They will have options that to accommodate vegetarians. Used to be very hard in Cuba, now it's a lot easier. But they can do it, they can accommodate it. So what is the situation? The thing is that in Cuba, um, huge a huge percentage of the population, they depend on the Cuban government for work. They have like no other choice. It used to be more, now it's less and less. They depend on the Cuban government, and they get their salaries that is about, I want to say, like $20 a month. And then with that, they have to buy all the food. The government provides, I'm trying to get like big jumps here. So if you have any question, go ahead. So
No,
the
no.
government provides certain food in a ration way with for a very low price, very little price. Like with $1 or $2, you can buy the rice, the sugar, coffee, cooking oil, meat, all of that. But the amount actually would only last for perhaps like 1 or 2 days. That's it. So then with the rest of the money, the people, they have to buy the other things. Because of the situation of the country, this government does not have a way to sell that to the people. They don't sell it to the people. So people have to buy it from other Cubans that are able to travel, and they buy things outside abroad, and they come back to Cuba and they sell it. Or they have their produce of tomatoes or lettuce or cabbage, whatever, and then they sell it at home or in markets. Those prices are a lot higher. So that is the situation pretty much in Cuba, and everybody has the access to doing these things. The restaurants that we go, most of these restaurants, the owners are able to either do business or travel or something that they can accommodate a variety of food. In some cases, we don't eat at the casas, at the private casas right there, because when all of our breakfasts are at the casas as well. So the casas, they find a way to find their food to accommodate our travelers. And yes, we have the restaurants that we go to. They're usually very good restaurants. They are good quality. They are usually like from the middle to high end restaurants. Always very clean, very safe to eat. That is what is most important for us. The safety, that it is cleanliness, that the food is good, that is going to be safe. That is the main thing for our trips. And
Absolutely.
the food in Cuba also is very fresh. Everything that we get there is like very,
Yeah.
very fresh because we
Yeah, and
don't
a lot of it
like,
is grown on the island.
yes, yeah,
So
and because we don't have like big fridges or store places, we
big
have to,
grocery store.
yeah, we have to
Got to
get
eat
it and
fresh.
sell it. That's it. Everything is very fresh, which is good. It tastes really good, really good. Yeah,
Oh yeah, the fruit tastes different.
totally,
And
totally.
yes, no, thank you for that. And honestly, I was so um humbled and surprised by the just the creativity that the chefs that we go to visit, and the love for the food and the land. There really is so much there, and I will forever hope that I get to go back to those restaurants and meet those chefs again. So it really can be, an important part of the itinerary when it comes to food, and understanding the realities of the island as well, and in helping to sort of bring those things together, and bring that context. But I really appreciate you highlighting and giving that history too, because it's important. And I think a lot of people forget, we have to tell them it's a completely cash economy too. Things operate differently And that's again what Claudia helps our travelers to prepare for and knowing all these details. Before I hand it over to you, Claudia, I'll just let everyone know quickly sort of what's included, what's not included. We're getting to the question period here shortly, so if anyone already has a question, feel free to throw it in the chat. But of course, this local bilingual guide is going to be part of. Puedes dejarlo. Yo voy a comer. Estoy en una llamada. Um, sorry, guys. Yeah, local bilingual guide, as mentioned, all activities in the itinerary are included. Again, most meals, reliable and comfortable transportation. Was talking to Dyron yesterday about a private group and understanding, what's the best vehicle size that we have so that you can travel comfortably and make sure that you are, yeah, being transported in the most comfortable way possible. And of course, all of our trips also include medical insurance. That includes medical evacuation insurance. So anything leading up to your trip, though, that would prevent you from going on this experience is what traveler's insurance protects you against. And that is not included, but we have recommended companies that we can connect you with. And of course, if you have any questions about this as well, we can dive deeper into that. Your flights and visas, tips and gratuities, and any sort of alcohol or other extras are not included. But Claudia will work with you in understanding, how much cash you want to bring for the trip so that you don't run out. But yeah, this is a quick highlight of what you can expect on our experiences. And I'll hand it to you, Claudia, to give an overview of all of the great resources you've built for our travelers.
Amazing. Thank you, Len. Before I explain, a little bit about the pre-departure and the Discover Core, I just wanted to share something really quickly. So Dara explained beautifully about the impact that, traveling brings to Cuba and to the community. And I was also, as he was explaining, I was also thinking of the impact that we bring home, right? So I have this here, I'm going to show it quickly, but this traveler, one of our travelers, she went to Cuba and she's a watercolor artist. So she sent, like Cuba inspired her to just like paint, and then she sent one to me and one to Osmani, which is one of our guides. And that speaks a lot about our trip, just the impact that brings to the community, but also the impact you bring back home. So just wanted to share that
Beautiful. I
quickly.
haven't seen that, Claudia. That's so awesome. I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, when I received this, I was like honestly a little emotional. It's so beautiful. And as Darren said, I love Cuba and I had a great experience there. So yeah, I'm just waiting to like put this on a wall in a special place in the
Frame
house.
it.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Definitely.
exactly. Yeah, but that also speaks a lot of how, at Discover Core, we just talk to our travelers and, the close contact we have with them. So I'm here in the pre-departure on site, and I want you to have a great experience as I had in Cuba. And I know before, especially Cuba, it's a little different. You might have questions about, flights or currency or packing list, right? We know that in Cuba, you cannot just, oh, I forgot something. Let me just go to a CVS and get it. Like, that's not going to happen in Cuba, right? So you need to pack well, and I'm here to help you with that. So once you are booked on a trip, you're going to have access to our travel portal there, which is the one you can see right on your screen. And then we have a lot of amazing resources there, including this video. So this video is amazing. So Lane really helped making this video, which was great. It's just a guide to travel to Cuba. So if you watch this video, you're gonna be ready to go. It's probably gonna answer a lot of your questions already. But we have the travel portal for you to learn about currency, can I bring a gift, for example? Yes, of course you can. And we have a gifting guideline. So, things that we are always getting that updated. So I asked Darren, what do they need? What can I add there? And of course, I'm here I can always give you a call before every trip, around 10 days before. I send you a final itinerary with your guide's contact information, your guide's name, and all those resources, and we hop on a call. So we have a call, and I go detail per detail, which document you need to bring, what you should pack, how much money you should bring, and of course, that's for your family as well. So I'm considering if you're traveling solo, if you're traveling with your family, if you're traveling with kids. So yeah, we definitely have this customized way to help you before and just to have you prepared before going to Cuba.
That final checklist is amazing, and you definitely time to go through it all with each and every traveler, but it's so important that we have that connection with you all and can properly prepare you for traveling to Cuba. So please do check out the video as well after. It is about 8 minutes long, but you can play it in the background and just listen to some of the common frequently asked questions that we get as well. Some of it we probably already tackled today, but if you want to share it with a loved one or a friend as well that wasn't on the call, that want to understand how we operate and again, the impact that we make, you can check out the video. I just wanted to quickly highlight, and then we'll open it up to questions, the best time to travel. I was joking again earlier with Dyron that this time of the year we end up talking a lot together because everyone has Cuba on their mind for the fall and into, you know, our winter season. But that is arguably some of the best times to go to Cuba is November through March. Of course, even April is a great time, and Cuba is blessed with good weather really all year round. But we generally see a lot more movement between those months just because it's going to be less rain, less possibility of, you know, hurricane season, etc. So just wanted to quickly highlight that before we officially open it up for questions. Hopefully, you know, you have some that you can throw in the chat for us. But yes, it's been so awesome being able to talk about Cuba and sort of reflect on some of these pictures I got to pull out. I had some fun making this presentation for you all here today, and it was cool to hear your stories too, Claudia. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to throw it in the chat. And I don't know if you have any last words, Dyron, for, you know, just telling everyone why they should book their trip to Cuba and
Yeah, well,
and come.
totally. I am. Then again, I'm really thankful for all what the people that have come through Discover Core and for all the work that you guys do. Going to Cuba, it actually makes, according to my experience, makes Americans realize or value more the things that they have here. All the things that usually they take for granted. So when you go to Cuba, you meet the people and you see the people they have much less, and they are happy in that way. So it is good. It is good going and getting to know people that are from a different system and environment, get to talk to them and about any topic. I am very happy that there are still people that they want to do this and not just going for the tourism and get to be, yeah, of course, I like the beach as well, but people that they go for the human value as well, and for the cultural and historical value that are most of the travelers that go with DC. So please, yes, continue to go, continue to do this. The Cuban people are extremely thankful for everything that you do, and they show it in their faces as the minute you get there. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Dyron. Thank you so much. Have some good questions here too that are coming up. Somebody asked, is the water safe to drink? So unfortunately, the water is not safe to drink in like the taps or the houses, but throughout the whole experience, we are going to provide you with clean filtered water. So we ask you bring a reusable water bottle that you can fill up always in your casas and also in the vehicle when we're traveling from different place to place. We're going to be able to provide that water. And of course, if we're going to a restaurant and we know that the water that we're getting is safe, your guide will be able to make those calls for everybody with again their amazing experience. So feel absolutely confident that, and Dyron, yeah, please add anything.
Yes, just about that. The thing is that the water, I'm sorry. The water is not all right. The people in Cuba, they drink the water. Some people they boil the water, they drink it, and if you drink it, you might be okay. The thing is that sometimes, or most of the times, there are local things in the water, like germs or something that the locals are used to it. And perhaps you as an American might not be used to it right away. And it might not agree with you at the first. So that is why we always recommend getting the bottled water, because that is more treated and everything. But then again, if you brush your teeth with water from the tap, of course, it's going to be okay. It's not poisonous or anything. It's that we are trying
Yes,
to avoid you getting sick. Like, but
absolutely.
if
Yeah,
you
and
have
just
to drink
taking
it at some
extra
point,
precautions.
yeah, you can do it. It's not, yeah.
Yeah, it's not yeah, definitely. Thank you for highlighting that. And yeah, we would rather be safe than sorry, so we always make sure that we take those extra steps for you so that you will always have those options so that you're not in a position where you feel uncomfortable or worried or anything like that. So definitely we'll be able to provide you safe drinking water. Somebody also had a great question of how like far ahead do I have to book my trip? So we do recommend 6 to 8 months in advance, and the reason is just to be able to get the best Casa Particulares. So the earlier the better. Of course, we can do last minute trips to Cuba, and we have pulled it off, although it's not the most convenient because there is a lot of steps that you do kind of want to take, and they facilitating just a more seamless experience for you, and making sure that we do get like the best accommodations for your group or yourself. It just makes everything a lot better. So if you can book, the earlier the better. And then also you get the opportunity to take advantage of our interest-free payment plan, something that I didn't mention, but it's a service that we do offer where you can break up your trip into monthly installments for no extra cost. But we have your final payments due 60 days prior to departure. So you really do need a lead up to the trip to be able to access that, so that you can make this dream Cuba trip a reality for you. So definitely recommending the earlier the better, but we also understand that depending on people's schedules, that might not be the style that you do, and you're a little bit more last minute. So you can always let us know and we'll do our best to accommodate. But just for everyone's sake, definitely be better if you can try to do at least 6 months before. So hopefully that answers everyone's questions. I know we're coming up at the top of the hour, so I'm going to end it here and just thank Dyron and Claudia so much for your
Always a
time and
pleasure. Thank you, guys.
expertise. And it's always so awesome to have you, Dyron, and thank you for sharing with
Thank you.
everyone
Thank you.
your culture and in Cuba. And hopefully
Thank you.
everyone is inspired after this to get out there
Thank you
this
very
year,
much.
and if not next. Looks like we have
Yeah.
one more. Oh, somebody just said thanks. Well, thank you for joining. Hope everyone has a great rest of the week or end of the week and weekend, and we'll tune in next time. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you all.
everyone. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.